So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? Well, one of the first wine regions that I ever got involved with was German wines. And we're talking about 1981. So yes, a long, long time ago, working up in the Boston area, I got my first learning curve, as we say, in the wine business. But of course, the business back in 1981 is a lot different than it is today in 2023. And one of the unique areas that was actually quite popular in the United States market at that time was German wines. And so I cut my first teeth in the wine business with German wines. And why was that German wine so popular back in those days? Well, there's a lot of theories behind that. Actually, after World War II, and we had a lot of German bases in Germany, so there was a lot of American troops at that time stationed in Germany, and a lot of them got a taste of German wines. They came back to America. They obviously were very, interested in these wines. So that kind of boomed that industry a little bit. And of course, Riesling was the wine of choice in that area. So again, that was a first learning curve for me, but it is very complex. But a lot of people aren't drinking German wines today. And there's a number of facets of that. Obviously, a lot of different grapes, as we talk about grapes, came into fashion, like Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, and even in Italy, Pinot Grigio. So Riesling got kind of pushed aside. So we're here to talk about Germany because, basically it is in my heart that I learned about these wines. And I just wanted to share some interesting aspects about the wine business a little bit with you. And one of the top producers that we're featuring today is Dr. Lozen. And Dr. Lozen is run today by Ernie Lozen. And this property goes back 200 years in his family. They were very much involved with in politics, in German parliament back in the late 1800s. So, obviously Ernie comes from a very, if you want to say, interesting background for this property. But a lot of the properties that actually exist here are some of the top domains. And we're going to talk about Mosel wines. So we brought out our map today, and the Mosel is all the way up here. So if we can talk about this area for the day, and there's many regions in Germany that you can actually learn about. So you've got the Nahe region, you've got Rheingau, you've got the Rhine-Hessen. But the illustrious, what I call the illustrious properties, which are called VDP, they are basically located in the Mosel. This is a really good map here of the Mosel River. So if we go into here and we can talk about VDP, and VDP actually stands for Verdbaum Deutscher Predescat Weinguter, and that's a lot of words. So they shorten it to VDP. It's a group of 200 producers in Germany who are the top properties. And some of the names, a lot of people in the wine trade, we all know them. It's J.J. Prum and Fritz Haag. And, but Dr. Lozen is definitely one of them. So if you look on the label here, you can actually see, so this is at Edner Treppchen. And that is a Grand Cru vineyard all along the Mosel here. And then we talk about what's called the predicates. And the predicates are basically a different category of sweetness for the wine. So when we talk about predicates, we start out with Qualitätswein, or what we call QBA. Those are the driest of the Rieslings. And then as we go a little further, we get a little sweeter on the end. So we go from Qualitätswein, or QBA, up to Cabernet. Cabernet, spelled with a K, is a little drier than, of course, the next wines up. And what's interesting about these wines is their alcohol content. This jumps up to Spätlese level. This is 8% alcohol. So as we climb the ladder of sweetness in German wines, you'll start to see the alcohol content go down a little bit. And these wines are very interesting because people would say, Riesling, isn't that a sweet wine? And we say, yes, to a certain degree, Riesling is sweet. But when you come from the soils here, which is called a blue slate, they give the minerality expression in these wines. So they start out a little, what we call, I would say, fruity. I would never use the word sweet to describe this wine. But then it finishes with this minerality expression. Again, that's from that blue slate. And you get all those beautiful flavors. Passion fruit, lovely balance, lovely expression. Again, this is the Grape Explorer trying to explain very difficult regions in the wine world, talking about grapes and talking about wine.